I'm Mary Trump. Yes, the other one of those. You might know my uncle is the authoritarian, convicted criminal con man currently wrecking the country from the safety of the Oval Office. But for the vast majority of my life, I've just known him as a fucking loser. So,
Mary Trump has spent years warning the public that the version of Donald Trump people see on television is not the real man. During her latest media appearances, she went even further, saying the most dangerous thing about her uncle is not his anger, not his ego, but the fear he hides behind both of them. She said Donald built his entire life around appearing powerful because deep down he cannot survive being seen as weak. According to Mary, that insecurity followed him into every relationship he ever had, including his marriage to Melania, and it still shapes his public behavior, political decisions, and constant need for attention and praise.
And that's sort of one of the interesting things about him. Deep down, he's a very insecure person. He's very afraid.
She described him as a man who needs constant praise, constant loyalty, constant reassurance. She argued that Melania learned very early that silence gave her more control over him than affection ever could. Mary pointed to the growing distance people have noticed for years. The separate appearances, the cold body language, the way Melania avoids defending him publicly unless absolutely necessary. She also claimed their relationship often appeared more strategic than emotional, with tension becoming visible during major public events, interviews, and political appearances over time.
he has no redeeming characteristics anymore, and I think he's dangerous.
But a new book from his own niece suggests what everyone but his base has already figured out. He's a fraud. I have no problem calling Donald a narcissist. He meets all 9 criteria as outlined in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders.
She suggested it is not accidental but calculated. She claimed Donald fears humiliation more than failure, which is why every public moment involving Melania matters so much to him, because he cannot control how she reacts in front of cameras the same way he controls political allies or employees. Then old clips started resurfacing again. Interviews where Mary called Donald a narcissistic sociopath, a bully obsessed with revenge, a man emotionally frozen somewhere in childhood, and suddenly those comments began connecting to the marriage itself. She said Donald measures love the same way he measures business, through loyalty and usefulness. Once someone stops feeding his image, he becomes resentful, paranoid, and desperate to regain control. That is when viewers started revisiting Melania's public reactions over the years. The hand swats the visible frustration, the long disappearances from campaigns. Mary implied those moments reveal far more than official statements ever could, and many critics began questioning how much tension had remained hidden behind carefully managed public appearances for decades.
So if you look at, there's narcissistic personality disorder, there's antisocial personality disorder, etc. If Donald were a patient of a clinical psychologist, and if he were willing to go through a battery of tests in order to be diagnosed, chances are...
George Conway added fuel to the fire by saying Trump's entire public identity depends on domination. When he loses control, even slightly, he spirals emotionally. Robert Niro piled on too, calling Trump deeply insecure and incapable of handling criticism from people close to him because it breaks the illusion he tries to project to the world. Mary then dropped the line that reportedly hit Trump the hardest. She said Donald does not understand real relationships because every relationship in the Trump family was transactional from the beginning, shaped by fear, manipulation, and competition instead of affection. According to her, Melania understood that system better than anyone and learned how to survive inside it by emotionally stepping away while remaining publicly attached to the brand. She argued that Trump mistakes distance for loyalty because as long as someone stays physically near him, he convinces himself they are still on his side even when emotionally they checked out years ago. Then came the part that sent social media exploding. Mary suggested the reason Trump reacts so aggressively whenever questions about Melania appear is because he knows the image of the perfect marriage is politically useful to him, especially among supporters who view family optics as proof of strength and stability. She said Donald fears personal embarrassment becoming public humiliation because once people stop believing the performance, everything underneath starts collapsing too. Clips of Melania avoiding eye contact, refusing to hold his hand, and remaining absent during key campaign stretches started circulating again. While commentators connected them directly to Mary's claims, Trump allies rushed to dismiss the comments as family bitterness. But Mary kept pushing harder, saying the real danger is not just Trump himself, but the machinery built around protecting his image at all costs. She warned that people close to him often stay silent not because they admire him but because they understand how vindictive he becomes toward anyone who publicly breaks away, challenges his authority, or exposes the fragile insecurities hidden beneath his carefully constructed public persona for many years.